At Mile Zero, the western starting point of Canada's #1 highway in Victoria, British Columbia, there stands a life-size bronze statue of a young, curly-headed long-distance runner. He is wearing a prosthetic limb where his right leg had been, and the expression on his face is a mixture of pain, exhaustion, and sheer determination. He has cancer and he is running against time. The young man's name is Terry Fox. Terry Stanley Fox was born on July 28, 1958, and grew up in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. Throughout his school years, he was active in sports. He loved basketball, and although he was too short to qualify for the school team in grade 8, hard work and persistence earned him a place the following year. In grade 12, he and his best friend received their high school's Athlete of the Year award. Terry wanted to become a physical education teacher, and after graduating from high school in 1977, he began studying kinesiology at Simon Fraser University in Burnaby. In December 1976, Terry experienced sharp pain in his right knee. By March of the following year, the pain had become so severe that he went to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. This aggressive form of bone cancer is the 6th most common cancer among children. It particularly afflicts teenage boys. Terry's right leg was amputated 15 centimeters above the knee, and he underwent chemotherapy. Doctors gave him a 50% chance of survival. After treatment, Terry made rapid progress as a result of his positive thinking and the same determination that had served him in school. 3 weeks after the amputation, he was walking with a prosthetic limb and playing golf with his father. His experiences during the 16 months at the British Columbia Cancer Control Agency facility, however, left their mark on Terry. Watching other young cancer patients suffer and die awakened a deep compassion in him, and he made it his personal mission to raise awareness and funds for cancer research. Inspired by the story of an amputee who ran in the New York City Marathon, Terry decided to undertake his own cross-Canada marathon. His goal was to raise $24 million, $1 for every Canadian. He trained for 15 months, in itself, no small feat. To adjust to his artificial leg, he developed a hop-step gait that was to become his trademark. The strain on both his good leg and the stump of his right leg caused bruises, blisters, and intense pain, which he was able to overcome after 20 minutes or so of running. In August 1979, Terry ran his first marathon in Prince George, British Columbia. He came in last, but his spirit was undefeated. In October 1979, Terry appealed to the Canadian Cancer Society for their support in his cross-country quest. In addition to writing to corporations for donations to cover his expenses, vehicle costs, and gear, Terry requested government grants to pay for an artificial limb that he could run on. With financial support in place and a go-ahead from his doctors, Terry set out on April 12, 1980, from the East Coast at St. John's, Newfoundland. He began by dipping his leg in the Atlantic Ocean and filling 2 bottles with ocean water. When he reached Vancouver on the West Coast, he planned to dip his leg again and pour one of the bottles into the Pacific Ocean. The cards seemed stacked against Terry. In the first days of his run, he encountered gale-force winds, heavy rain, and snowstorms. Later, in the peak of summer, he ran in extreme heat and humidity. His course followed the Trans-Canada Highway, where drivers were not always respectful of Terry and his team. Running 42 kilometers a day took an immense toll on his body, but despite shin splints, an inflamed knee, cysts on his stump, dizzy spells, and tendinitis, Terry continued. The strenuous days through Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Quebec, and Ontario were not without their highlights. Terry was disappointed with poor public reception at first, but his courage and doggedness eventually attracted the attention of celebrities and the media. Upon learning about Terry, the founder of the Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts, whose son had died of melanoma, provided the team with accommodation and food, pledged $2 for every mile run, and rallied other corporations to Terry's cause. By the time Terry reached Montreal on June 22, he had collected $200,000. On July 1, he arrived in Ottawa for the Canada Day celebrations and performed the ceremonial kickoff at a Canadian Football League game to a standing ovation. Along the way, he was joined by National Hockey League heroes who presented him with checks. Tireless and undaunted, Terry spoke at functions and events arranged by the Canadian Cancer Society. His name soon became a household word in Canada. On September 1, 1980, 143 days after he began his run, a coughing fit, chest pains, and shortness of breath forced Terry to stop outside Thunder Bay, Ontario. He entered the hospital. The cancer, he announced at a press conference, had spread to his lungs. A few days after he was hospitalized, television broadcaster CTV held a 5-hour nationwide telethon with Canadian and international celebrities, adding $10 million to the $1.7 million Terry had already raised. With 5,373 kilometers behind him and 3,108 to go, Terry hoped to beat the cancer and continue his run. On June 28, 1981, 1 month before his 23rd birthday, Terry Fox lost his battle with cancer. In the eyes of Canadians, Terry died a hero. To this day, Terry Fox has not been forgotten. Organizations and events all over the world have raised more than $600 million in his honor. Launched in 1981, the Terry Fox Run takes place every September on the second Sunday after Labor Day in communities large and small, all across Canada. Supported by the Terry Fox Foundation, the event is organized and run by volunteers and is open to everyone. Terry Fox lives on as a symbol of courage and as an inspiration to do good in the world. The many statutes and monuments, buildings and organizations that bear Terry's name are enduring reminders of what one person can achieve when he puts his heart and mind to a task.